Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully, let's see if this works. Transition. Ahoy, I am Lee the Pirate Tester, and welcome to Tuesday Night Testing. I streamed in the past, but this is my first time with a whole bunch of new kit, with slides with a greater focus, better layout, so this will be me testing myself, as well as hopefully testing a website. I'm doing this all on a single screen, so I will periodically tab back into my streaming tool. It will only be showing you the website I'm going to be working on, so you shouldn't see anything else. Hopefully, so I won't be on camera. Hopefully you are seeing a screen that now says Tuesday Night Testing SelfCare Backpack rather than stream starting soon. It should be saying going live. Is it still saying loading? Do things need a refresh? I hope it's still not a loading screen. Right, in the good old classic of... So you can hear me, but it's showing a loading screen. That's weird, it's showing stuff. Right. If I go... this, hopefully it should show us a self-care backpack website. Okay, you missed the change. Groovy. It is nice having you here in the chat, Gem, because if things were going horribly wrong, I would be worried that I would be streaming like a big black screen for an hour or however long this lasts, and everything that I reference is not going to turn up on screen. Because I'm going to be... So, let's try and get a nice reset going. So I am Lee the Tester, and I will be streaming... I'm going to be testing the website SelfCare Backpack that hopefully you can see in front of you. This is a website made by a good friend of mine, Gem Hill. They are currently in the live chat as SelfCare Backpack. I imagine potentially seeing if I find anything faulty on their website, and if it's all good, they get the affirmation. Their website is fantastic. Hello, Ben. Thank you for shouting out in the chat, so it's nice to have friends here. I'm going to be exploring this site. My one sudden thought / concern is, because I am going to be showing a browser rather than my entire desktop, I am hoping that when I start doing stuff there will be a mouse cursor. If not, there will need to be a lot of description from me of what I'm intending to do. So we will find this all out together. Well, hopefully you won't need to take notes, Gem, because the upside with this being live is YouTube will save it afterwards, and I think I've enabled it where it should show back the chat and at the appropriate time. Again, I've never really needed to use this, so it will be a good learning experience for all of us. The key things I would love to hear from everyone is how are my personal sound levels coming through my microphone, and how is the sound of me versus the background music coming through? Is it distinct enough? Does the background music need to be toned down? Can you even hear it? Hi Tara Walton, thanks for joining in. So I don't know if I can see how many participants. So I've got myself, Ben, Gemma SelfCare Backpack, and Tara shown in the participant list, so that's great. So yeah, how is the audio before I actually start hitting this site in anger? Background music doesn't have much. Is it too quiet? It's mainly I just don't like empty silence. You can't see the mouse yet. I am tabbed into my streaming deck, so let's see what happens if I go on here. So I am curious if I go onto my phone so I can see the chat from you all. I don't know. Right. This is all going to be very interesting, messy. Let's see what's going on. So, this is SelfCare Backpack. I've maximised it. So, first thing I see is I've got some links at the top, search bar. I have some lovely colourful boxes, SCB shop, and there's a hyperlink. Self-care coaching, free resources, lots of text, more links within, I believe, want to work with me, a horrible box that leads to contacts, picture of Gem, some description of them, newsletter, links, various bits and pieces. So if someone came to me and went, Lee, we would like you to test this site, what would I do? How would I try and use it? And cool, so the cursor is visible and tabs in. Excellent! That is the thing I was most worried about. So if I was to test this, there are different levels I'll go. The first fundamental is, can I click can I click it and is it readable? So it is a nice white background, nice pastel colours so it stands out. It's not got horrible contrast in. I would not expect horrible contrasting from Gem. They know not to have like black text on a nearly black background and so forth, which is great. So, first thought that comes to mind is, can I click all these links? Where do they take me? So because I'm in maximised, I can't see the address. I'll come on maximised and that will like hide the bottom bit. So we are in selfcarebackpack.com. So if I go to the shop, it takes me to the shop and I have a bunch of options here. Cool. Right now I want to only focus on, do all the links work? So I can go back to the main site without having to press back on my browser. I can go back to there. For organisations, so it takes me to a different version of the site. So I get corporate.selfcarebackpack.com. And the interesting thing is, you can't sort of get back to the non-corporate bit from here. Like clicking this just takes me back to corporate. Now I did have a slight look around in advance, because it was like, is there a way out without pressing back? And hopefully it's showing the web links at the bottom. So if I go to shop, it takes me back to the original version of the site. So from there I can get back to the non-organisation part. So potentially, Gem, if there was a bit for non-organisations, they might be confusing to get out. I don't know. Self-care coaching takes me to a new page. Lots of information, but right now my focus is, can I navigate from one thing to another? Contacts, if you would like to get into contact with Gem. Lovely contact box. I love a good like text fields that I could enter. I will be trying to destroy that as much as I can. Free resources. Like the site. With the self-care map, digital colouring sheet, self-care box, lovely. And then we have links to Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Mastodon. I imagine, Gem, you might want Bluesky on here at some point. I don't know if you're doing threads. I don't know if you would want those things. Something to consider. Right, we also have links again to down here. Privacy terms and conditions. That's always interesting to see. Is it here? Yep. Big old thing here. Ooh, so on here, they're highlighted, but they weren't underlined. But if I go back, they're underlined. Gem. That Twitter one should be an X as well. Yes. Well, it should be, but that was really recent, so it depends where it comes from. But yeah, so privacy terms and conditions. When you're on the site, these are all underlined. As soon as you go to privacy terms and conditions, it is not. Ooh. So I have got a Tuesday night testing Google Docs. So when going to privacy
new
terms
donation from Full Snack Tester.
Ben, you have sent me a donation. Thank you very much, my buddy. I'm also pleased that this thing works. It makes a little sound. It has a little animation. Yeah, that was hilarious to see. Right. So where was I? When going to privacy terms and conditions. So privacy terms and conditions. All the links at the bottom are no longer underlined. So someone go, Lee, that is a trivial bug. But if I was doing this at an organisation, freelance, so forth, my job isn't to determine what is important. I see it in my job is to find this information and pass it. Jen might go, that is not critical. I don't need to worry about that. Jen might go, I don't want that inconsistency between my sites. They might even say, I don't want it underlined everywhere, in fact, and want none of it to be underlined. It's not my job to say, this is wrong. I say, this is different, this is inconsistent, this is something you might need to be aware of. Let's find out. So if I go back to my main page, does the cookie policy? So it also applies to cookie policy. And helpline and resources doesn't. Ooh. Paul Coles, that would be an accessibility issue. Is that in regards to the underline not showing? I want to make sure it's the right term. Cookie policy page. Policy page. And no. I can say the, but yeah, that's fine. Oh, this is like so many links that I could try and click on, but they're all external, so they're going outside Gem's website. So if I was to write a chart, say I want to look at the links. Right. Speaking of of accessibility issues that Paul Coles, hello, see it, nice to see you in chat. Helplines and professional resources from a visibility point of view is not ideal. I have a theory as to why it's happening on those specific pages, but makes zero sense if my theory is correct. I mean, feel free to, if you feel comfortable or it's not putting your site at risk, if you want to share why you think it's doing that, Gem, that would be great, because people might notice on the site, so might be able to share that information. What happened to my header? Yeah, it's bright white on a very pale pink background, Gem. Yeah. That will definitely be getting put in the log. Header is solid white on a pale pink background and hard to read. So yeah, 15 minutes in and I'm finding some things which are this from my perspective, this is great. Alright. So that is just so there is also a search bar. So if I press it, it brings up a search filter. And I'm curious if this is something based on the theme Gem use, and it's something that is out of their control, or is like if it's an actual word processing. But the thing that stands out to me is there's no button. Like you have to type text. I'm a test. I'm going to write the word test. So it does return things. It feels super right against the edge, which is weird. Having the chat on my phone is also super helpful rather than me having to tab out all the time. So yeah, so the fact that so whatever you want in, but you have to press enter, and like accessibility isn't my forte, but my thought is that a problem? Don't know. Oh, that search result page is grim. I mean, those are your words, not mine, Gem. They're not ideal, is how I'd politely say it. We do have our little secure padlock, which is handy. Cookies side there. One cookie is one side left. Right. So that's our top one. So from there, we have another way to get to the shop. Cool. So it lines up with this. Great. Self-care coaching. That lines up with self-care coaching at the top. Free resources lines up with the free resources we had at the top. Wonderful. So they are consistent. We have a link to the word encouragement. So this takes us into a specific product, encouragement cards physical. If you hover over the picture, it wobbles. Ooh, wobbly picture. And it loads a separate picture that overlays. Cool. Not focused on that specifically right now, but yeah, good to know. So this takes us to a specific product. And to start a guided resource pack, where does that take us? So this takes us to another specific product with a wobbly image. Is it self-care? Is it self-care or self-care? I think due to the way the website is called, I am seeing it pull as self-care is one word but camel case, so capital S, capital Z. Ultimately, it is Gem's website. It is for there to decide. But I think self-care is the brand, self-care is the action. And then Gem in the chat, it depends. A lot of people use self-care or self-care. Yeah, cool. Gem is backing up exactly what I assumed. Because, again, it is not my place to say. And thankfully, Gem is here to answer. A link checking tool. I don't have any on this. If you have any suggestions for a link checking tool, Ben, feel free to share. I have never used one. So I'd say old-fashioned / Luddite. I'm doing it. It's partly also not just to see if it works, but to also see where it does take me. So we have want to work with me, contacts here. So it gets darker when you hover over it. And that takes us back to this contact page. So we have multiple ways. Well, we have pretty much, apart from for organisations, like 2 ways to get. We got the top banner and ways within the page to get the things which is in the top banner, which is useful. No links in the About Me page. There is a newsletter. And because there's a button that was like, what happens if I try to subscribe and it's empty? Please enter all of you. Now, I will say this is a third-party thing run by Substack, so I am not concerned about trying to break that, because if there's a problem, I see that as being an issue with Substack itself, not with Gem plugging into it. The fact it tries to pop open something and then immediately close it intrigues me straight away. And then, as I said, I hover over these. I see that links are appearing in the bottom corner of the screen. I don't know if they're turning up on there. So Ben and chat, if you were interested, did semicolon, and then it didn't seem to pay. I'm assuming you tried to pay something there, but it's not coming up. I'll double check on the actual studio thing, but I don't see anything there. But then, as you say, but also, I understand you want to eyeball each page, and you already found things with that. And yeah, technology can always be there to assist. With I imagine with like a link checking tool, that will be saying like, do the links work? And then you could go, right, now that I know the links do or don't work, now what do these pages look like? And it might separate those steps a bit more, whereas I'm chaotic / kind of focus on different things at a time. I've also made sure I have plenty to drink for this, so much so that I actually have 2 drinks, a Vimto and a lacto-free milk. So that is the links on the site. Theme doesn't link to anywhere. Products of technically well, company number, We have our handy bottom button, which takes us back to the top, which is good to know. So that is the links on the initial page. So if my charter was to investigate the links, would I go, right, I want to base it on a page at a time, and then be like, right, I have investigated, I have explored the links that are on the main page of the site. Am I happy with this? Is there anything that has stood out? And the links send me to places, that is great. If anything, it is when I have used those to get to places, I have found things. So as Ben says, it's the human eye of looking at things as I'm using those links, which is a result of it. So I will go, I am cool with that. What I want to do now is focus on the subpages. So I want to start with the shop, because shops, you can do so many things with it. And hopefully I will not break the shop feature for Jeb, and I will not inadvertently order a bunch of stuff that I shouldn't be. So I'm on this page. The first thing that leaps to mind is there is an uncategorized and absent imageless thing for course tests. So if I hover over the adjacent physical image, the image changes as I hover over it, and the entire thing shows a web link in the bottom corner. And I don't think web links are showing up in the stream as I peer over the corner of my phone. But if I hover over the course test, if I hover over the word course test itself, I see a link in the corner. If it's uncategorized, I get the product category. But because there's no image, there isn't, I can't click into it. Whereas if I go here, I click into it and it takes me into it. Now, I will mark that down. So shop page. So I have course test, missing an image, and categorized. This could be intentional. Again, I'm not saying this is wrong. This is an observation. That shouldn't even be there. It's a test product. Test failed or test passed in that regard, Jem? Should the test product be shown? What happens if I try to... Oh, now what I want to know. Can I add a test product to my cart? I have a cart of £50 products. So Savitri Sepulveda, if I have pronounced those wrong, I apologise. FYI, check the contrast on the text of the pink squares of the home page because I was struggling a bit reading it. It does not meet WCAG standards 4.45 to 1. So a quick brief detour. I do have Wave as a tool I can use for accessibility. I might look into that later, depending on how I do it. It's not something I have a lot of experience with, but it's something I try to keep in mind for at least looking at stuff. The fact that we're effectively group looking at this with different people having different ideas of things that they would focus on is really good. And whilst we're not doing full-on ensemble / mob testing, the fact that I get lots of ideas in the chats and you're all able to try things is fantastic. If you wanted to look at this site yourself, there is a link to it in the description on this video further down, as well as just being able to see it in there. So if you just wanted to click it rather than type it out, go for it. So back to the shop. I have good observation. When you come out of the shop and back into the main page, it still shows your cart, and the cart pushes things along. So if I update my cart empties, the cart icon goes away. So that was kind of in line with a link, a bookmark I have in the browser above that I can't show. So if I add this, does it move across? Yeah, so it reaches the next bookmark I have built into my Chrome browser. So it pushes that along. Interesting. Oh, right. I'm kind of jumping ahead because I'm trying to break with this, but I just had to do a -1, and it doesn't allow a -1 gem. Excellent. I don't know if you've ever tried to break your own site like I am, but cool. Right, so if this gem is explaining what they have on the site, we can see different products. So we have fixed things at the top, and the images are permanent and they don't change when you hover over them. And then we have the second section from the middle, where I can say how many I want to see, and the picture does change. And I've just noticed the image that over there is on top of the image underneath, and it hides when you do it, but it's not lining up. So I've zoomed in a bit. You can see how the bottom of it's there, and so like that bit's always there, but the top bit changes. Right. Oh god, what's the reset? Right. So top half images, say bottom half under where they have categorization. The image changes when you hover over it, but the bottom of the back image is always showing. So yeah, even on those ones, it's like it squashes or stretches on those ones, and then those quick view buttons feel a bit off. But the button does do something, so that's good. But I don't think it should say quick and then underneath view. Final 2 products on default listing have quick view option with quick to the right of the image and view below the image. Let's at least end with some full stop so we can be civilized. I didn't even know I had quick view buttons for it. Weirdly, Gem, only those two have quick view buttons. So, I don't know. If I view all. So the web address updates to say products per page equals all. It doesn't seem to change the amount because I think you have less than that, so you have 12. Did it quick view look better before you zoomed in? I don't know, but so quick view when I'm at what percentage am I at? 175%. But quick view fits underneath it. Soon as this is at 150%, and the eyes to the right of it in quick view is underneath. And then if I get any smaller, it doesn't seem to change. So we shall put that right back. Updates Ben. Nope, same broken on 100% on my browser too. And Gem, some weird WordPress nonsense. Some weird WordPress nonsense is what I imagine it to be as well. So products page equals 12. Now, this is me doing a minor detour, but I will rein myself back. What happens if I change product per page equals 1? So the product per page doesn't apply to this bit, only from where this field kicks in. And I can say I want different pages. So if I'm on page not 1, I see the items, but if I'm on page 1, I also see the block of text and these fixed products above. So are they in a separate section? Test ahead. What happens if you say product per page 0? Or it puts some 3, 6, 9, 10. $11, $12. So if you have default, if you have product per page equals 0, it treats it as 10? Ooh. Again, possibly some weird WordPress nonsense. So, back onto what can I do with this page. And another observation I'm seeing is the styling. So the items which are always fixed to the top of the page have a different style: font, colour, price colour, and add to cart button. Whereas these ones, it's, in fact I can see here versus here. So I've got like a pale blue, green, add to cart. I have a different font, a different colour, a different size, a different style button. So we have styling differences between fixed products at top of page and filterable. Did we say filterable? Yeah. So we got font size and colour. price, font size, add to cart button differs. So we're defaulted to a grid view. I can have a list view. If I have list view, I still get a weird quick view thing, but only for those two. Stretch. I have default sorting by default. That's what makes it default, I imagine. If I sort by popularity, order by equals popularity. So it seems Gem's most, and I assume it's descending. So Gem's most popular item is SelfCare Backpack, Resource Pack, digital and printed. Then digital only. Some journaling, holiday survival. Your course test is somehow more popular, depending on alphabetizing, of permission slips in both digital and digital. Now, I imagine because Gem has admitted this is a test product, and it shouldn't be there, it probably either hasn't had a completed order, unless they have done one to see if it works and then like cancelled or refund themselves, magic behind screen, or that these are also not been ordered, but C comes before P and permission slips digital only. Would they only force it alphabetically to be after that though? Probably. It can't be price. They're all in categories. I don't know. Without the back-end data as an external oracle, are there other known WordPress shops you could compare this to? Oh, cool. So Gem and then Gem has also said, I did attempt to buy a couple to see the process. So I don't know what WordPress shops there are, but also I imagine it partly depends, Ben, how the shop is built and if it relies on, say, this kind of theme or not. Because there's so much you can do with WordPress, it might be how the things that the plugins and so forth that Gem is using for their shop is different to how another site might do it. And so the behavior will be hard to say, it does this here, it does this here. Yeah, but it's using XYZ versus ABC. So potentially, sort by popularity. So yeah, the problem is there might be like a really successful site and you still don't know if the popularity is true or not. So, do we have any average ratings? Have people been rating their products? Can you rate the products? So sorted by popularity, I think was the same as default. Course test, some permission slips, and then ends with our quick views and encouraging bundle. So if we go back to default sorting, encouragement cards. So the order in default is different to average rating. Can you rate things? How can I rate something? Right, I don't want to leave fictional reviews for Gem stuff. Gem might be able to. This is what it is in Alpha. So I imagine that potentially I can leave a review and them can tidy up. I do not want to be leaving fake reviews for Gem to be dealing with. But that would be falling under a different charter. Would be like, okay, what can I do with the review process, which I'm not doing right now. So that is something I could do in a future session. You have to buy it first. What do I, Gem? Can I leave a review if I haven't bought something? Does it know? Because if I've not logged in, there's no login option. How does it know if I've bought it? Sort by price. Is sorting by price correct? Because we know these are fixed. So we have threes, three threes, three threes. How it orders these threes, I'd be very curious of. I mean, so Jem has added, I could absolutely cancel, but I thought I had the setting where only people who purchase it can review, so I'm going to change that. It might do that. I haven't tried to review. I only got the option. I saw the review option. So I can see there's no reviews. If I press submit, please select rating. Well, okay. Error. Right, that is annoying. And I blame WordPress for this. Because you can't say, I can't unenter that. If something's not, oh right, I'm distracting myself from what I was trying to do. So we're looking at the sorting. So when I'm sorting by price, if things are the same price, how is it then determining the order? So it might be, well, in default that was last, so reverse default. By price, how is it determining items of the same value? So that might be potentially leading to a bug. That might just be a general question of, I've ordered by price and I've got things the same price. Then what? Don't know. And this might be something that Gem has no control over because it is a WordPressy thing. It might be something Gem has control over. I don't know. But as ever, I am passing information. So I'm expecting, so currently I've got SelfCare, Backpack, Resource Pack, Digital Only first in lowest to highest. And I have the course test at the highest because I jumped from 7 to 50. So now if I switch them around, does it go the other way around? So I have that at 50. And is the last thing, yes. So it has, like, whilst I haven't memorised the order of everything within, and if anyone wants to like rewind the live stream, they can have a look. But it does appear to at least flip them, which it should do if you're changing highest to lowest. Lowest to highest, highest to lowest. So that is good, and I can see that the page is changing. Can I combine these? So if I want order price and product, cool. The web address is increasing, and it is saying, show me price. If I do all, I could do all. Can I have -1 product per page? It just goes nuts to you, Lee. You're seeing all of them, but without saying all. So I can select items. So is there a difference in adding to carts? The things up here, add to cart, versus, so I added a physical. So let's add an encouraging bundle. So whether it's the grey add to cart buttons or the white and like contrast changes when you hover over it, the cart is updating. Groovy. Let's go into a product. So if I click on, I can click on plus to increase, click on bottom to go down. It will let me type in 0. It won't let me. If I press a minus, it immediately deletes it and kind of like forces the page to reset. Ooh. So I want, sorry Gem, I want 0 of these. Can I add 0 of this? So there is built with validation. Value must be greater than or equal to 1. Can I add in Ah, if I try to add a decimal, it deletes the decimal and shifts it to the left-hand side of it as well. Cool. So if I'm in here, so that auto went through the pictures, but then when it got to the end, did it go back to the start? Or was I just not taking long enough? Was that only the first time? Like, so when you're... Let's refresh it. Because I wasn't paying attention to that. Now I feel like I should have. So I can increase. I can decrease. Hover over it, it wiggles. If I hover over these, they get brighter. So like there's a film coding over it, but it's not auto-loading the picture. But the picture changed when I was doing things. It's interesting how anytime you do something, it refreshes the buy with Google Pay button, but nothing else. Right, so I'll want one of these, and I would like to add to cart. This has been added to your cart, and I can view cart here. So I got the option to view cart here or up there. Cool. I can tweet about this product. I can have an invisible button. Oh, there's an invisible button that you can't select. So you got tweets, you got Pinterest, which does not align, a weird plus thing, add to any. Ugh. So they're not aligned. Gem, these aren't aligned. So when in a product, underneath categories, there is a tweet button, a white space where the cursor changes, but nothing can be selected. A Pinterest button and a blue box with a white plus, or they learn to type when you're going to write a bug report. They're going to write a bug report on your bug report for as any, and they are not aligned to one another. So we have the two issues. So we have the white space and the alignment. Again, different issues, but it's further information. Let's see. Oh, comments from Gem. I have tried so hard to get rid of those, and I don't know how. They come with WooCommerce, and I hate them. Somebody hates. It's got 3 A's in hate. That's how much Gem hates them. So if you can't get rid of buttons, could you at least... Are they have to be terribly aligned like that, Gem? If so, that sucks. So we have a description. We can get to the review tab. We have related products. We can add those. The options to add those to carts. Oh, that's interesting. So if I scroll, let's say, past the images. Yeah. I have a trimmed title, so it doesn't show all of it. Oh, right. I'll raise that in a second. So I have a trim title. I have the price. I have the option to add to cart. I don't get validation up there, though. Is it because the validation is on that box up there, and so you don't see the validation? Down as the products bar is displays. Let's help if I actually go down to the right thing. Right. When scrolling in a product past the description, a grey product bar is displayed with a trimmed title, quantity option, and add to cart, where 0 is selected and add to cart pressed, refreshes with no validation warning. So yeah, I imagine it's because the validation warning is happening up there and we can't see it. What I will say is, on this product, that button bleeds over the text. Support ticket with WooCommerce. You, I assume, pay for them for the service. Remember, you are a customer too. You are a customer, Jam. They are earning from your efforts, but they might go, it's not worth the hassle. But you never know. On products, in the title, title, because it's not a description. That's the description. Is below the blue icon for changing products. Right. It might have briefly flashed up the options when I clicked buy with GPay. Look back at my stream because of the time delay. Yes, there is. So again, that plugs into a third-party thing. I am not massively concerned about that. We have categories. Can we click the categories? So if I click digital download, I go from product, blah, 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 blah. Oh, there we go. I was like, nothing happened. I might not press it properly. Look at that. I don't know if it's down to how the website is designed. I don't know if it's something that is down to, it's like 2 layers of products. But where we have the product categories, you can't see all the categories. So if you wanted to say, oh, I want to see all the digital downloads, you have to find something with that category to then click it. And I don't know how, like, should there be something on like the left-hand navigation or an option for categories? No obvious way to see all the available products categories when on the shop. What happened to all my previous orders? I added things to my cart. Where did they go? Because I used the other one, did it get rid of them? Right. So we're going to get rid of that. Because I had a couple of things in this prop. So I added the physical cards for £6. Then I added the encouraging bundle. So I do see 2 products, £11. Then we're going to go into a product. So has it got? So is there something I did that wiped out the cart? Was it from doing that? Nope. That's still there. My cart's gone. Why is my cart gone? Is it because I tried to buy something with Google Pay? So if I come into it, come out of it, right. I want something of a different price. I'm going to try and pay with Google Pay. I'm going to briefly show my email address, very quickly show my stuff. Not good. If I go back to the shop, it's overridden it. So my £3 item has been replaced by my £5 item. Now I want to add 0 things to my cart. So if I go back to my shop, it's still there. It's interesting because I said I want to buy with GPay. It knows who I am. It's remembered my address, and I'm giving away the first half of my postcode. Not a dangerous amount of postcodes, so I'm not too worried about that. Dude, where's my cart? Was it simply clicking shop? I don't. And this is where I would need to rewatch my own stream, Ben, to go, what did I do to inadvertently empty my goal, overwrite the cart? Somehow emptied cart when shopping, possibly from adding 0 item or selecting Google Pay. Need to rewatch stream. I've only just added Stripe to the site, which should be where the Google Pay option is coming from. How odd. Possibly, Gem, because I've never needed the site with a cart element. I don't know how any of this stuff works. I mean, hopefully when someone comes to buy stuff from your site, they are not trying to intentionally break it like I am. Yeah. Interesting. Right, this has nearly been an hour, and I have found this very fun, but I don't want to make it go on too long, both for myself as well as for all of you. It has been very fun trying to do some bits and pieces. As you can see, I have been able to find a couple of things. Anyone with a link can access this, and what I will do somewhere in fact, I'll make it as a comment. I will share my test findings as a comment to this stream. So then anyone who wanted to see what I've done afterwards can do so, and then so those of you who are watching live, or for anyone else who watches back, can do so. I would like to thank everyone who has watched this now, as well as anyone who watches this back. If you like the way I work, I am available for work, as I have at the top of the page. So I'm currently available for permanent work, or if you just want to hire me to have a look at your website or some other products on like an ad hoc, even just like, Lee, I would like you to test this thing for an hour. How much will it cost? What do you want to do? That can be discussed. If you like what I do, you can like Ben did, and again, big love to Ben. You can support me out on Ko-fi, because when you have zero income, anything helps. But also just sharing who I am and what I do is fantastic. So sharing this stream, my channel. I am on LinkedIn. There is a link to that down in the description, I believe. You can get me on Twitter. I am at the Pirate Tester. I am on Bluesky, where I'm the Pirate Tester, and then all the Bluesky stuff on there. I'm not on Threads because I am not touching that with a burning stick. You can email me. Unsurprisingly, I am the Pirate Tester, and I'm at gmail.com. I have tried to make sure I am harmonious in my branding and support. Yeah, this has been nice. I would like to try and do this regularly. Ideally, I might try and do it like every Tuesday night, hence Tuesday night testing at this kind of time. So it was 8 till 9 p.m. UK time for me. One thing I will say is, I will take requests or suggestions for sites, but I will not do it on sites that I do not have permission to, unless they have like openly admitted this site is designed to be tested on. So if someone's like, Lee, I was using this banking site or this booking site or whatever, and it wasn't very good, you should exploratory test it and find the bugs. If I do not have permission to be there, I will not do it. I am treating it just like an ethical hacker would. You do not test things you don't have permission for. It is not good for the company who is being tested. It is not good for me, because I feel it would not make me trustworthy. It does not show off the kind of person I am. But if you know of sites that are designed in a broken way intentionally, that has an open policy for people to test in some way, so like Mark Winteringham's site he uses for API testing, where it is intentionally built bad and to be used in that way. I have previously streamed in the past, and that is a site that can be done. But anything like that, please let me know. Again, thank you all, and enjoy the start of your day, middle of the day, end of the day, whatever time of day it is for you. I am Lee the Pirate Tester. Thank you very much.